Once again, I can't believe I'm telling y'all all of my business. But anyway, here it goes. I was driving in my vehicle one night on my way to a bar to get some refreshments that contained alcohol, and I met this young cutie that was walking down the main road in my city. She wasn't seeming to be in any rush, but I still pulled over to try to talk to her, as I am prone to do all the time when I see a lady that I want to speak to. But getting to the point, she looked good, so there was that extra incentive to offer her a ride to wherever she was going. Turns out, she was just getting off from work from a local grocery store, and obviously still had the uniform on, which her body filled out very nicely with her slim frame. She was a young black woman about 5 feet 7 inches tall, dark chocolate in complexion, and she wore glasses and was wearing a hat. It appeared that she might have been singing to herself while she was walking along the sidewalk. I pulled up to her. "Hey, where are you going?" She replied that she was just going home. I asked if she wanted a ride, and she added, "I dunno, you aren't crazy, are you?" I replied that I wasn't, and added that there might be some evidence that it's about to start raining, and asked her, "How far do you have to go?" She explained that it was about 20 or so blocks away, but it turned out that it was more than that, and this served me well later. Just listen. She accepted the ride, and as she was getting in, I let her know that I was going to hit on her and that the ride wasn't contingent upon whether or not she reciprocated or was interested or not, but that if it's okay, I was going to hit on her. She was like, "Okay." We start down the road, and I asked her to put her seatbelt on to avoid any need to be pulled over for something as silly as that, and she put it on. I kept looking at her while I was driving and told her how beautiful she was, and she was like, "Thank you." I added that it had been a while since I had encountered such a nice-looking, well-spoken cutie that looked as good as her walking around these parts, and she laughed. I mentioned over the course of the next few blocks that I found her very attractive and asked if she had a man, and she replied that she had a baby daddy that she lives with. And of course, I had to ask if they were still physically involved at times, and she replied yes, and that he still wants her, but she doesn't want him like that. I took that as a go-ahead to keep hitting on her stronger than I had planned, and basically asked her what would I have to say to get her to let her hair down and show me a little something. She touched my right thigh in a friendly, yet bashful way and shockingly said, "What do you mean?" I explained that a woman's touch is so powerful, and explained that it was making me feel something, and she laughed. At this point, I wasn't sure how close I was to her street that we had to turn down, so I poured it on a little thicker and told her that she had a pretty mouth, and she smiled. Since she didn't seem offended or weirded out by this strange black man coming on so strong to her, I decided to just ask her for well, you know what I asked her for. To my surprise, she still wasn't offended and asked, "Right here, right now." I said, "I could pull over right now." Her eyes said everything, and I simply pulled over and pulled out, and she released her seatbelt and came over to where I was and, let's just say, got the party started, to my surprise, no doubt. Being the greedy Negro that you know I am, as it was feeling so good, I let her know how good it was and that, well, I wanted to see how the rest of her feels. She looked at me with this look of, "I want to do this." But, so I figured this is a young lady that just got off from work after doing some time probably moving boxes around or stocking shelves. So she's feeling a little self-conscious about that. So I put her mind at ease and said, "You're worried I'm going to smell you after you've been working all day, huh?" She said, "Yeah." I put her mind at ease and explained to her that not only am I an understanding guy, but also, wait for it, drum roll, I'm a guy. She laughed and understood what the assignment was right at this moment. And I kid you not, she took off her pants. Now mind you, we are on the side of the road on a decently busy street where cops are up and down looking for criminals. But at the most what we were doing would probably be a lewd act in public or indecent exposure or something, I dunno. But it wasn't prostitution. Anyway, her pants are now off. She comes over to where I'm at, which is the driver's seat. And let's just say I'm a horse saddle if that gives you an idea of what we're doing. I'm trying to not be so graphic here. After we're done, I get her phone number and let her know that I'll be calling her, but she told me to be careful if I see her with her kids and her baby daddy, whom I'm assuming might just be more than what she said he is to her, or he's the jealous type. Old girl was really beautiful, and I saw her pics online, and she really cleans up well in a dress. Curves with a slim body and a face to make traffic react, which is what got me to talk to her. I like women, suh. But the point of this story is I almost didn't talk to her, because I assumed that, nah, she's not going to be interested in me. But she was, and that's funny to me. More so than the sexual encounter itself. The fact that it almost didn't happen, but I almost shut myself down without putting the ball in her court. I just hope I didn't knock her up.